Meanwhile, we just have a little bit of massing up for Pasildan. Nothing too crazy, nothing too insane, just chilling out. And we do have Hellions in position here to go in again for NHK, but he is going to get denied by this tank and by the supply depot. God, these graphics are beautiful. I really, really am looking forward to a tank versus Hellion battle. See all that stuff flying? It's just one of the more fun things. And look at Pasildan all over the map with these Widow Mines. Very nice. Even if they get killed and they don't do any damage, they're pretty cheap scouts. I mean, if you're going mech, that's the cheapest unit you can make to potentially do damage and hold a position. Single tank here for NHK, not going to do a whole lot. Of course, if you take advantage of mech's immobility with mech, I'm not sure exactly how that works out, but it looks like it's doing pretty good for Pasildan. If he sieges up here, there's no way that NHK is going to be able to get in. NHK is going to secure this ramp, though, and that is not going to be a problem. Does manage to save that orbital. Very nice. Hellion's going to try to get in again. Do they have Hellbat mode enabled? They do have it enabled. Not quite doing it. Picks off an SCV, does that damage. 38 workers killed so far for NHK, but Pasildan's army is looking pretty dominant. He denies that fourth base very well. Army supply in favor of the Red Terran. Of course, the upgrades are 2 and 0. He's got level 3 weapons on the way, and the 1 hasn't even finished. He's got 1 on the way here for NHK. No plating on the way for Pasildan, and oh, Blue Flame getting started again? I could have sworn I saw that before. Must have been a possible accidental cancel. I don't believe there was a Tech Lab snipe anywhere. So that's a little bit unfortunate for that Terran. And now NHK playing very defensively now. Pasildan is really on the move, going all over this map. This has quite a few attack paths, if you're not familiar with the map. I mean, you can go a lot of places. And it looks like Pasildan's going to choose the southern route. NHK's army is on the complete opposite side of the map. Oh, Widowmine goes down. God, that is a cool sound. Now we're going to see Pasildan sieging up out here. Back at home, he does have a huge army, though, so if he gets in position to defend this base, maybe he can save it. NHK does have that blue flame advantage, so he is going to wreck the Hellions of his opponent. Pasildan sieging his third, as well as his own third being sieged, so a bit of a trade going on here, but the thing is, there's not a lot of army over here for NHK. He's got a Thor out, which, oh, the Punisher cannons. I forgot about that as a thing as well. Man, I really need to study up this patch. I've been looking at it like every time I play Heart of the Swarm, but there's still things that slip by me. He gets the command center. Very nice pick there by Pasildan, but of course NHK forced a cancel over here on this command center as well. So a bit of a trade. Both these guys very even right now. Army supply favoring Pasildan by the teeniest bit. Of course, you know, even though the supplies are even, Pasildan has plenty less SCVs by about 24 because of all those kills by NHK, so he was denied pretty hard there. And now it looks like NHK is just starting to get sieged up. He's going to be moving into the natural, and this is a very pivotal point. This is where everything comes through for the production, so if this gets sieged up, it's going to be so hard for Pasildan to get his army together. And he's trying to engage into this, but the arc is beautiful for NHK. This is not the best idea. All he has here are tanks, and NHK has more. And when it's tank on tank and one guy has more, that guy is going to win. Pasildan here does have the 2-0, 3-0 about to finish. 1-1 has finished for NHK, and he does not have additional upgrades in production. Looks like this base over here is about to get started for Pasildan. He's lost 41 workers this game. He can't quite get in here. The tank count a little bit heavy. It's getting too hot, the Ghost might say. He set up a sensor tower. He is very entrenched in this position, but it looks like the tanks are going to be able to eliminate that. And meanwhile, the hold of NHK is very strong. He's got some Vikings in the air now. There's not a lot over here air-wise for Pasildan. His army very split, and it's an awkward position to be in. Still has the army supply advantage, though. However, it is slowly being whittled away. Looks like this Viking is going to get taken down. We do have level 1 air weapons for NHK, which is one upgrade that is very useful. We actually, oh god, we have level 3 air weapons. Oh yes, of course, those upgrades have merged as well. My goodness, forgive my ignorance. When you upgrade weapons, you are upgrading both your air and ground weapons off the factory now, guys. If you didn't know that, then maybe I'll feel a little bit better, but that's something I definitely knew somewhere in the back of my head, but it doesn't hit me until I see it in action. So now we're seeing just a kind of a war of attrition here. Both guys have brought most of their mining to this base here in the 6 and about 12 o'clock positions, if we're going to be a little bit fair with the clock. We're going to see another expansion down here by Pasildan in the lower right. And Pasildan is holding that tower, but he cannot break this contain. And we are going to see a couple of Blue Flame Hellions coming in here. And these SCVs are lining up. Is NHK going to have to control? No. The Hellions are there, and 3-0 weapons will take them out rather quickly. But tanks take out Hellions pretty quickly as well, and that is going to get cleaned up. And Pasildan is going to go to land this, and it looks like he's just going to slip right by these tanks, having taken out everything over here on the north side, but this expansion has been denied, so it's kind of like the circle of life. For every expansion that's denied, another expansion is brought into play. And we do have level 2 weapons on the way here for NHK, so he will be starting to match up to Pasildan, but of course Pasildan has a huge window where he's going to have 3-0 against 1-1, and that is pretty good when you consider how damage stacks on mech. You're not getting +1 bonuses, you're getting +5 and +3 bonuses, as opposed to, oh, there it is. And he sticks the landing. Unfortunately, is the last landing of his life. And whatever I was talking about before, forget it, because there are pretty colors on the screen. Now NHK is going to be coming up here. Pasildan is not sieged up. He's got to siege up now if he wants to break this, but oh, it looks like he's just going to go for the tank stutter step and try to get on top of everything, but he's getting smashed by that siege range, and this is just like the stalwartest, stalematiest. These guys are so close to the edges of the tank's range. They are just vacationing here right now. He's slowly trying to inch forward. There we go. We are going to see some damage going down now. And he's going to scan. Of course, NHK has this air superiority, but there it is. Tank for a tank. Man, gotta love those physics. It's interesting to see a mech army all spread out like this. I mean, usually you'll see 1 or 2 tanks back at home, but we've got like 4 equally sized armies for each of these players spread around the map. That's very, very good control, very good positioning. These are very strong players. Now we see NHK is taking a supply lead. Planetary Fortress is great, but it doesn't do too well against tanks that outrange it, and they do pretty good damage. We are going to see some repair going down here, but I think the tanks are actually out DPSing this mere 4 SCVs that are repairing. And yeah, that Planetary is going to go down, and that is a pretty big loss. He's only got 1 more command center that is free from an expansion. Otherwise, he'll be forced to lift off. NHK looks like he's taken a pretty big lead in this game, but we have to remember this base over here. You know what? Let's see. Does NHK even know about it? No. That is a mystery to him. Pasildan, however, fully aware of everything that NHK has, and his sensor tower is making him aware that there are movements over here on the east side of the map, moving toward the center, and there is my dog, ladies and gentlemen, but we are too deep into this game to restart this cast. Poco, I'm just going to have to hope you're going to be quiet, because I think it's about to heat up. We're going to have a lot of tanks moving in here for NHK. Pasildan's army supply, 81 to 74. Somehow, he's coming back. He's going to try to get that air superiority back, and it looks like there's not a lot of Vikings in the air here for NHK, and there's only 2 to the 11 Vikings of Pasildan, but NHK is still doing a great job of denying this expansion, but this one is really bringing Pasildan back in the game. Meanwhile, these sensor towers and missile turrets are getting cleaned up. The armies are starting to centralize a little bit, and the huge Viking count of Pasildan is going to devastate everything NHK has to offer. And oh, is Pasildan finally going to break this contain? He hasn't been able to mine from this base for so long. These SCVs sitting here, useless, and I think they're still being paid, so they're probably pretty happy about that. Most of the tanks for NHK are getting cleaned up. This is a really good game, but now he's going to find this expansion. He is not going to be pleased. He is going to siege up. There are several tanks here for Pasildan. He should be able to just move in and get rid of these, especially moving in between that fire. Even the SCV getting in on the action. And now we just have more base denial as these guys mass up their tank, Hellion, and Viking armies. 9 Vikings in the air now for Pasildan, none for NHK, and he doesn't have any in production either. But he really does not want to have Pasildan have this base. Even less, though, does he want him to have this base, a fully saturated, well-stocked base that is just giving him tons and tons of resources. The income there, relatively even, but considering NHK's contain, it should be a lot lower for Pasildan at this point. Looks like we're going to see a small engagement here. Just going to pick off the reinforcements of NHK and work on denying this base. Will this be his first discovery of it? Yes, he's going to come up here. Going to get a free tank, actually. Sieging up, and bam, that tank is going to go down. Look at that. Look at that thing. That is crazy. And this command center is just going to die. It can't be saved. There's too many Vikings in the air. Goodbye, orbital command. No, what? No, okay, that's got to go down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Blast off. Meanwhile, the siege down here is getting cleaned up by these SCVs. No upgrades on these guys, but they are getting a surround on that siege tank. Will they be able to do it? Hero SCVs, oh my god, these are the strongest workers I've ever seen, taking down 2 tanks. It's like those anti-tank dogs, and oh, there it is, GG from NHK. And what an awesome game for this first Heart of the Swarm cast. Very cool TVT, incredible positioning, great play by both players, but this hidden base for Pasildan really managed to secure the win for him. So congrats to him. Very good game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please make sure to go over to my new YouTube channel and subscribe. YouTube.com / or not backslash, just / WordCastSC2, your normal / I always say backslash. It's youtube.com / WordCastSC2. That's going to be my new channel. It's going to be where I'm putting the new content very soon. And I do appreciate your viewership and subscription. So hop over there, and thanks very much for watching. I'll see you at the next cast. Word up.